Dominic Ifeanyi Chukwuokafo, and I represent the good people of Agwatafura constituency, including the performing governor of that state who has been christened Oluwatuegwu. Oluwatuegwu means somebody who does not fear work. I'm from Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I stand on the strength of Order 8 through 5, matter of urgent public importance, and to also seek the setting aside of all the relevant rules to enable me move this motion on urgent public importance on the need to provide relief and flooding mitigation measures for victims of recent floods in Agwatafura constituency and other affected areas in Nigeria. I so move.
Honorable colleagues,
Ibuku, as in if the town and communities where homes, farmlands, schools,
order please,
and other
order please.
Infrastructure.
SMA, please, SMA, please.
Thank you.
Me palace, my brother, please.
And communities where homes, farmlands, schools, roads, and other critical infrastructure have been submerged.
Chief Bini is out.
Forcing hundreds of families to abandon their homes and take refuge in primary schools and other temporary facilities under their humanitarian conditions. Concerned that the displacement of residents has created acute humanitarian challenges, including shortage of foods, potable water, medical care, and increased vulnerability of women, children, and the elderly to health and security risk. Further concerned that if the flooding continues unchecked, it could lead to outbreak of waterborne diseases, disruption of schooling, and the collapse of livelihoods in affected areas, thereby worsening the socio-economic conditions of the people. Cognizant that urgent and coordinated intervention by relevant federal agencies is required to provide immediate relief materials and to implement sustainable flood mitigation and control measures to prevent reoccurrence. Therefore, the House resolves to 1. Urge the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA to, as a matter of urgency, provide relief materials, including food, medical supplies, clothing, and temporary shelter to victims of the flood in Agwatafura constituency and other affected areas across Nigeria. Mandate the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, to deploy response teams to assess the extent of damage and coordinate the provision of long-term rehabilitation support to affected communities. Call on the Ecological Fund Office to immediately release funds for the construction and rehabilitation of drainage systems, embankments, and other flood control infrastructure within Umudege village, Ibuku, and Ezinifite town, and other affected communities in Agwatafura government, local government area in Anambra State. All the Federal Ministry of Environment, in collaboration with the Anambra State government, to embark on massive distilling of water channels, rivers, and drainage systems to improve water flow and reduce flooding risk. Mandate the committees on emergency and disaster, environment, and appropriation to ensure compliance and make adequate budgetary provisions for flood control mitigation and post-disaster recovery intervention in the 2026 appropriation bill. Observe a minute of silence in honor of all Nigerians who have lost their lives as a result of the recent flooding across the country. Last but not the least, mandate the Committee on Legislative Compliance to ensure that these resolutions are effectively carried out and report back to the House within 4 weeks for legislative actions. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I so move. Thank you.
I represent the good people of Fika Fune, Federal Constituency. I'm from Yobe State, Mr. Speaker. I rise under Order 8, Rule 5, Mr. Speaker, to present a motion under urgent public importance on the incessant loss of lives, from accidents as a result of overspeeding due to lack of speed breakers and bypass roads in Damagum and Genzarma towns of Fune local government area of Yobe State. I hereby move the motion, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Any seconder to the first leg of the motion? That is urgent.
The House notes that Damagum and Genzarma towns are major towns of Yobe State located along the Kano-Maiduguri Federal Highway, which was recently dualized by the federal government. We also note that most major towns along this highway between Kano and Maiduguri have bypasses or bypass roads, except these two major towns located in Yobe State. Disturbed that lack of these bypass roads and speed breakers, motorists plying the highway through the middle of these towns at incessant speeds result in accidents or hit-and-run cases. Worried that these accidents, Mr. Speaker, has resulted in the loss of several lives and serious injuries to innocent citizens. Just last week, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, 5 lives were lost and about 19 people sustained serious injuries in Damagum town when a bus rammed into a group of people along the highway. Concerned that the need to provide speed breakers in the interim as short-term and construction of bypass roads as long-term measures in these two towns cannot be overemphasized, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, the House resolves as follows: that 1, we urge the Federal Ministry of Works to consider and approve the immediate installation of speed breakers in Damagum and Genzarma towns of Fune local government area in Yobe State as interim measure to forestall and or reduce the rate of accidents and loss of lives in these two towns. Secondly, we urge the Federal Ministry of Works to consider for inclusion in the 2026 appropriation for the construction of bypass roads in these two major towns as long-term remedy to the problem, Mr. Speaker. Thirdly, we mandate the House Committee on Works to follow up and ensure compliance by the ministry. And the last prayer is to observe a 1-minute silence in honor of the victims that lost their lives in Damagum town last week. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Any seconder? Yes.
The federal constituency of Edo State with the smartest working governor. I'm a very proud Benin chief. Mr. Speaker, I have a motion of urgent national importance on the need to stop the unwarranted incursion by Mosoga community in Delta State on Oben, Ikobi, and Obazogbo Nogu communities in Noriawan local government of Edo State. Mr. Speaker, I rely on Order 8 through 5 to suspend all relevant rules to enable me to move all these important motions. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Please second.
Ikobi and Obazogbe Nogu communities of Orion local government area of Edo State have lived in peace within the oil exploration area of Orion local government without fear, harassment, and crisis of any kind, and have shared common boundaries with Delta State, particularly at the Mosoga axis of the state. Mr. Speaker, the House is aware that since 1991, when the boundaries between Edo State and Delta State was created and explicitly defined, the indigenes of both communities along the border as hitherto lived in peace. Mr. Speaker, this House is very worried that recent development occasioned by the people of Mosoga and Delta State in general have left the people of Igwelaba, Oben, Ikobi, and Obazogbenugu communities in Orion local government area of Edo State in great dismay and disbelief. Mr. Speaker, the House is worried that there has been an unwarranted, unprovoked incursion by the people of Mosoga and Delta State in general on the lands and communities of Igwelaba, Oben, Ikobi, and Obazogbenugu in Orion local government area of Edo State. And this incursion has led to tensions between the communities and has the potential to escalate into a full-blown interstate crisis, thereby threatening the peace and stability of the nation. The House is also worried, Mr. Speaker, that this unjustified incursion and attack by thugs and hoodlums from Mosoga community in Delta State is allegedly being done under the authorities of the OV of Mosoga in particular and some undisclosed chiefs in Delta State. Mr. Speaker, the House is disturbed that if serious action is not taken to stop this incursion and attack coming from Mosoga people, it may snowball into full-scale interstate crisis, which will in turn threaten the peace and stability of the nation in general. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, this House resolves to 1. Mandate the House committees on special duties and national security and intelligence to investigate the incident and report back to this House within 4 weeks. 2. Mandate the relevant security agencies, including the Nigerian Police, the Nigerian Army, and NIA, to take immediate action to restore peace and protect the lives and properties of the affected community. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, urge the government of Edo State and Delta States to expedite action in resolving the dispute through dialogue and mutual understanding. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
And some other leaders in Delta State, I would rather that he rely on his prayer for investigation without bringing the result of the investigation that he has personally done. Maybe it will be wrong. My people will accuse me of sitting here when our kings and leaders are being accused falsely on the floor of the House. I want that withdrawn while we go on with the investigation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. You can just say amend in principle so that the clerk at table will adjust it for you.
Amend in principle, Mr. Speaker, that very paragraph.
Thank you very much.
So amend.
Any seconder to...
Of public importance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Any seconder on the first leg?
For this. Mr. Speaker, the motion is the urgent need to address the devastation flood in Nnewi North, Nnewi South, and the Okusigo Federal Constituency in Anambra State.
Thank you very much. So I put the question. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So the floor is yours. Please, straight to the point.
My name is Honorable Ambassador Peter Ifeanyi Uzokwe. I still have the good authority of the people of Nnewi North, the Japanese capital of Nigeria, and Nnewi South and the Okusigo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise this afternoon to move the motion for the need to address the devastating flood. The incidents happened in Nnewi Town, Amichi, Orifite, Ozobo, and other communities, and calling for urgent intervention, rehabilitation, and preventive measures. The House notes with grave concern that the recent devastating flood that occurred on the October 7th, 2025, which severely affected Nnewi Town, Amichi, Orifite, and Ozobo, and other adjoining communities in Anambra State, following a prolonged and heavy rainfall that led to extensive destruction and washing away of 37 houses, roads, farmlands, schools, and businesses. The roads were also affected, and many were feared dead. Even a pregnant woman was washed away by the flood with her motorcycle and her corpse found at a distant community in Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, let me go straight to the prayer so that we move on to other things. Because it just the attention that Dr. Honorable Dom Ukafo called the attention of the House to. The House resolves to urge the National Emergency Management Agency to immediately provide relief materials, medical aids to the affected residents of Nnewi Town, Amichi, Orifite, Ozobo, and its environs. Call on the Federal Ministry of Works, FEMA, in collaboration with the Anambra State Ministry of Environment, to carry out an urgent assessment of the affected area and commence the rehabilitation of the damaged roads and drainage systems. Mandate the committees on environment, works, and FEMA to prevail on the relevant agencies to investigate the root causes of the recurrent flooding in these communities and recommend sustainable preventive strategies, including but not limited to improved urban planning and drainage infrastructure. To observe a minute silence in honor of many who lost their lives as the result of the disaster. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Any seconder? By the soul of the departed, rest in perfect peace.